Hello everybody, my name is Thomas and welcome back to Thomas's Tutoring. In the previous video, I went over multiplications for numbers up to 65 through squares. Yep, so I think that should help you all out in your 11 plus or even past the 11 plus, because like that multiplication thing for lower numbers does help out. And if you haven't watched that video, make sure to go check it out. But anyway, Today we'll be moving on to time zones. So some of you might know what time zone questions are. Some of you might have had 20 time zone problems. Some of you might have had none. So today I'm going to go over what time zones are. But without any further ado, look at these numbers. My watch time from subscribers. 90% of you aren't subscribed. Come on guys and girls. I think we can put those numbers up. So if you do enjoy the videos I make, please do subscribe to my channel because I really do appreciate it. Leave a like if you do find it useful. And time zones. Ever had a problem where somebody flies to another country and you have to figure out what time they landed in local time? Those type of questions are known as time zone questions. So here's an example. I apologise for the writing to be so small, but to explain it I had to make another text box. So Jeremy has a flight from London to Tokyo. So he was an Olympian and he had to go like 2 weeks ago. The plane departs at 2:20 p.m. London time. The plane is delayed by 35 minutes. Tokyo is 10 hours ahead of London time. The journey from London to Tokyo is 7 hours on a plane. What time does Jeremy arrive in Tokyo local time? I'm going to go through it in a 3-step process. But later on in the video I'll explain a 2-step process, which is honestly quite simple and is more efficient, but I'm not sure if it works for every single question. So we'll start with the key. This is one of the steps. L for London time, T for Tokyo time. If you had, say, Moscow in Brazil or Rio, you could have R for Rio, M for Moscow. So you need to find the start of the journey, the departure. And so in London time, this is going to be 2:55 p.m. Next, you're going to want to convert it to the other country's time zone before you calculate the actual journey. So that becomes 12:55 a.m., or 5 to 1 in the morning. Very early. And then the journey arrival is you add on 7 hours, so you arrive at 5 to 8 in Tokyo time, which is the local time. The answer therefore is 7:55 a.m. Tokyo time. You don't need to write Tokyo time. So I'm going to go through exercise 1. And this is the question. Victoria has a flight from Rio to Moscow. How funny, I picked out those earlier. Which departs at 9:30 Brazil time. I should put Rio time. But Moscow is 6 hours ahead of Rio. And their journey time is 17 hours. I completely made that all up. What time does Victoria arrive in Moscow local time? I'm going to give you a minute to go through this problem, because this problem is honestly harder than most of the normal questions I do. So you're going to have a minute for the other 2 questions, because I'm only doing 3, and then I'll go through it in a way more detail. And so your time starts now. So make sure to take notes on this question. That's half of your time. If you don't think you're going to finish in time, you can always pause the video and go back. Okay, so that's about a minute. If you didn't finish the question in time, go back and pause the video. I'll give you like 2 seconds to pause the video and go back. Okay, so you should have solved the problem by now. Or if you haven't and you don't know what to do, we'll go through this. So step 1, you need to find the departure time. 9:30, we should have written the key for R, Rio. 9:30 add 6 hours is 15:30. So this is the time conversion. And then 15:30 and 17 hours is 8:30 in the morning. If you don't know how to calculate over days, you go how many hours to the next day. So that would be 7.5. No, 8.5. 8.5. And then you have 8.5 left over. So therefore the answer is 8:30 a.m. the next day. If it asks you for what day, like say this was the 23rd of January, you'd have to put 8:30 a.m. the 24th of January. And the simple way to do it is you add these two numbers up and then add it on to this number. So that it would have been 23 hours from 9:30. So you minus 1 and add on another day. Minus 1 hour, because that's pretty much what 23 hours is in correlation to 24 hours. So exercise 2. Again, I've had to put the text box up here in the top right corner, so if you don't know where the question is, top right corner. It might be paused out a bit by the title, but Bill has a flight from New York to Mumbai via Berlin. New York to Berlin is 30% of the journey time, the total time being 15 hours. Mumbai is 9 hours 30 minutes ahead of New York, and Berlin is 3 hours 30 minutes behind Mumbai, or 6 hours ahead of New York. What time does Bill arrive in Berlin in Mumbai time if his plane departs at 7:20 in the morning because of the 07? So I'm going to give you about half a minute, because you should have known the process by now. Really, you don't want to spend much more than half a minute on these questions, so you have time to double check. But if this is not enough time, you can always pause the video. Your 30 seconds start now. Okay, so that is 30 seconds up. If you didn't have enough time, just go back in the video or pause it now. I don't know if you will be able to see it because of how YouTube works in the top corner. If you're watching this on mobile, that won't happen. But yeah, so this question is much harder with much more information. With questions like these, the first thing to solve is when does he land in Berlin, which is 30% of 15 hours added on to 7:20. 30% of 15, you could do 10%, which is 1.5 times 3, 4.5 hours, 4.5 hours, which is 4 hours, 30 minutes, add on to 20 past 7, which gets you to 11:50. Then the departure from New York, 11:50, you land in Berlin, and then you time convert it to Mumbai time, which is 20 past 11. So the other method is to add 4.5 hours to 9.5 hours, leaving me with 14 hours, add it on to the departure time. This works for most time zone questions, but not all. So the answer would be 21:20 Mumbai time. You do get questions like these in your 11 plus, so it's always good to have a bit of practice. And then our third and final exercise. Emily has a flight from Poland to Turkey. I don't know their capital cities. Which takes 3 hours. Turkey is 1 hour ahead of Poland. If the plane leaves at 11:50 Poland time, what time does Emily arrive in Turkey? Local time. Now I want you to use the method that we used just half a minute ago, and see if you can solve it in 10 seconds, which start now. So that is your 10 seconds. I'm going to give myself a 10-second period to walk it through with you. My 10 seconds start now. So 3 add 1 is 4 hours. 4 hours added on to 11:50, 15:50. Done. I did that in 6 seconds. See? You can do it like that if you know how to process the information. If you don't know how to process the information, it can be a bit harder. So here is the summary of time zones, and so to recap, here are the 3 main steps. Find the departure time. convert the time over, and find the journey arrival time. The other method, the shorter, more efficient method, is to add the numbers involved in step 2 and 3 for the answer, and it works with most questions, but not all. If it's only a question like, this one, exercise 3, then just add them up. If it's a question like this, you need to process all of the information, because otherwise you'll just be like 9 hours 30, 3 hours 30, add that on to 720, and that will leave you an hour short. Because of the 30% being 4.5 hours, not 3.3 hours. And this part here, Berlin is 3 hours 30 behind Mumbai. This is just to trip you up, because they want it in Mumbai time. The Berlin time doesn't matter. It wants it in Mumbai time. So you could add them up for this one, but it's better to double check using the other method. And exercise 1, you could just add them up again. So yeah. Well, that's all I have prepared for today's video. If you guys and girls did enjoy, please make sure to leave a like. Comment down below, if comments are enabled. Any suggestions? I do have another video prepared. And, well, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you in the next video. Have a nice day.